Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, 10 forward number 43.
Whoa.
765874, Unification.
209-867-5309.
Yes, we are,
Surprise, we're doing a 10 forward.
Yeah,
Fuck y'all.
This thing came out, it kind of caught us off guard.
We want to be popular too.
Maybe should have done it sooner, but whatever.
I don't think there was an opportunity to do it sooner.
Oh, we could have recorded it. Was it out before our last recording? Maybe it wasn't.
Barely.
It
But
Okay.
also, I feel like this is, like, right now is when everyone else is talking
That's
about
true.
it.
Shit, how do you have so many notes on this?
I have so many, oh my god.
How is this possible?
Oh my god.
I watched
We're
it
gonna
and was
talk
like,
about it.
Yeah, so Unification, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's like 10 minutes.
Yeah, links below.
Yeah, it's a
It's not even 10 minutes. The
epilogue
last 4
tech
minutes.
demo.
The last 4 minutes are credits.
Yeah, it's
That's a lot of credits, yeah.
yeah.
The music's nice.
Yeah.
Post Generations Shatner's Ghosts. Yes.
We haven't introduced ourselves.
Oh right. This is Chris.
This is Ames.
This is Caitlin.
And that's CG Jake over there. He has no lines.
Yes.
But we'll do his voiceover for him. Cut from other episodes.
But yeah, the short version, CG Post Generation Shatner's Ghost goes and sees Nimoy, Spock on his deathbed. They watch a sunset. It makes you feel things, and
It's very
there you
romantic.
go.
There's a lot of Easter eggs.
So
I wouldn't
many.
say too many Easter eggs.
And Savick.
So this is part of a series, though, right? Like, this isn't
Yeah, this
a
is
standalone
OTOY's
piece.
series.
Well, the thing is, the other shorts, that clips from those are in this, so I guess those were kind of...
Oh no, there's a cinematic universe, you see. It all connects, Chris. Did you not understand the movie?
No, I didn't.
Good, you shouldn't, because the only good part of the movie is the last couple of minutes, but...
So yeah, you have a shit ton of notes, as Caitlin said.
I'm gonna do them later.
Okay.
Okay, so should we...
I want to hear first impressions first, and
Well,
then I'm going
well,
to tell you all the fan
impression,
theories.
First impression of what? Of the Shatner one or all of them?
All of it, I guess.
It was pretty.
It was pretty. I have a whole theory on how and what this thing is. Can I?
I wanna-
can I
yeah.
just?
Oh,
Okay,
boy.
so
Let's do Jake's theory.
So if you haven't watched it, I'm going to give a very, very. It's 10 minutes. Just go fucking watch it. But very.
You need to watch the other ones first.
No, you don't. There's no. I don't think.
Ignoring the universe.
I mean, you might. I think that what the other ones kind of add more context to it. But I just watched it a few minutes ago, and here's my very quick overview. It opens with
Gary Mitchell.
Gary Mitchell.
Yes, I forgot to mention that.
His eyes silver.
Aluminum foil. Poor man.
And then we see a bunch of clips of shit happening.
Norman Colt.
And then we see Crewman Colt, and we see and then we're on. See, now I'm mixing it up with the previous one.
That's because there are kind of flashback moments at the
Yeah,
top
that's
of this
true.
one.
Is this the one we're on Viridian 3, or is that the
All
previous?
of them.
Okay.
Yeah, they all...
Okay, so we're on Viridian 3, where the Enterprise has crashed, and Spock goes and visits the grave of Kirk and picks up his communicator that Picard had left there. Now, we're in like this verdant garden, and there's a bunch of people all lined up. And Shatner, as Kirk, is walking through this garden. He's walking through this crowd of people, and he sees Robin Curtis as Savick. She sees another man behind him, another Vulcan man. Then he proceeds up to the front, talks to this Goblin man who gives him a thing. It turns out that's the communicator pin. Then he goes into some weird ethereal plane where he sees his past self from TOS, his past self from Star Trek II, and then himself present day. And then they disappear, and he continues walking, and then he's in a room with a Spock who is laid out on like a day bed, and they have
Surrounded by all his past possessions.
surrounded by various things, and they share a moment, and they watch the sunset together, and presumably they both die. So anyway, here is my interpretation of this whole event.
You think they both die? Fascinating.
I sort of thought that too.
So it all comes back to Goblin Man. Because
you recognize Goblin Man.
Because I recognize
I would never have understood
recognize
who
who
Goblin Man
Goblin
was.
Man
I recognize Goblin Man.
Was that Fuck me, what's his name?
No, I guarantee no.
No, I know, but I want to say it anyways because I'm joking, because I don't think that's who it is. Is it, who the fuck plays Scott? Simon Pegg. Is it Simon Pegg's little weirdo buddy from the...
No, he is
Teaser?
significantly
No.
shorter.
That is a small man.
Yeah,
This man who kind of... anyway, we haven't met him yet. But this is a mild spoiler for Discovery.
Yeah, very mild.
I believe
Season 3.
that this man is a character that is introduced in Discovery as someone who transitioned over from the Kelvin universe.
Yes. His name is Yor. He is a temporal warrior, according to the internet.
I don't remember that. I just remember that he is the way that the Prime universe knows about the Kelvin universe.
I don't remember this man at all.
I
remember none of the rest of Discovery.
It was a Kovich thing.
Yeah, he is given as an example of somebody who jumped both time and space, and because of that, his molecules exploded.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sure, I believe
So-
you. I do not remember this at all.
So Kirk walks through this crowd of people, sees this guy, gets the comm badge, which is something that we previously saw Spock pick up. So he got this presumably from Spock somehow. And then that allows Kirk to transition into the Kelvin universe.
Oh, because we know Spock went to the Kelvin universe.
And
Yeah.
that's where we are. That's where we see Spock in that daybed. And I noticed when I was watching this that we see a little table next to Spock with some possessions. One of the possessions is the little thing with the picture of the crew.
Yeah.
That he
Yeah, the
sends
box.
to his younger.
That Quinto
young
Spock looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that explicitly places this scene in the Kelvin universe.
Wow.
So this is right as Spock, I believe it's Spock's moment of death. And further, I think this is also Kirk's moment of death because he is in his Generations outfit. And
Well, yeah, they showed his grave.
Then how does Quinto Spock get the box?
somebody just sends it to him.
Yeah.
Like Spock had a will that said send this. Do you think
Do
the
you
implication
accept
is
the last will and testament?
Do you
of
think that the
Leonard
implication
Nimoy?
is that
Kirk is alive now?
and well? In
Yes.
The, oh no.
That's the thing about this movie. There's way too much lore that what's his name? His name is Jules Urbach, who's the CEO of OTOY and wrote the storyline for this. Full of lore, but literally all of it he claims is, open to interpretation. He just stuck 1.5 million Easter eggs into this thing so that the fans can concoct shit.
Big fan of Lower Decks then, this guy.
I bet he is. And yeah, the more I read into some of these rabbit holes, which were very hard to go down because each one ended with someone saying, "Oh my god, I started crying at Spock and shit." The more I went down these holes, the more I disliked this project. Because it's so over-egged. There's so many little references. There's so much story behind how is Kirk here? I'm going to tell you, I have just a fucking long list of all the things fans have figured out already, and I'm sure there's more to come. But first, we're still on initial impressions, and I like Jake's theory. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff to that theory, but I think this little project on the whole, because it was released for the 30th anniversary of Generations, is to give Spock and Kirk the farewell that fans kind of didn't know they needed, but a lot of people, since now that they saw it, they were like, holy shit, why didn't we have this a fucking million years ago? Probably because
Shatner wouldn't allow it.
Because Shatner and Nimoy hated each other at the end. Probably that.
Yeah, there's definitely that's one thing that kind of hangs over it the whole time is it's a sweet moment for those characters, but then there's this inevitable, unavoidable meta text of Shatner is still alive and has regrets, as we know from the captains.
What? No.
And it's just it's so weird in universe it's sweet. In real world it's weird.
They were like, hey, we should get you guys back together again one last time, and Nimoy was like, over my dead body, and they were like, okay.
Yeah, it's unclear how much Shatner had his hands in this stuff. in terms of decision making.
It turns out that he funded the whole project.
No, it sounds like almost all of it is from Jules Urbach, the CEO of OTOY, in collaboration with the Roddenberry Archive, who I guess commissioned OTOY with making a lot of the technical stuff of like creating the archival ships and shit, which they're very, very good at. Good for them.
Yeah.
And they kind of said, "Oh, we want to keep like playing with all our tech, and we have some stories we want to like start playing with. These cult stories out of fucking nowhere."
Yeah, that was in the super short ones. I think briefly in this you see Colt. I was like, oh, that's a good for her. Good for Colt getting the moment.
Yeah, Colt played by, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, I'm very sorry, my dear Colt, Mahe Faisa, who looks like fucking the spitting image of Laurel Goodwin,
oh,
who
so
was
they
the original Colt.
They didn't CG her face. That's actually her.
I'm sure there was some CGing with the face, but also like Faisa just looks shockingly like her. Like I saw the still image of them at the premiere at the TOS bridge in Ticonderoga.
Sure.
And I'm like, holy shit, looks just like her. And she also happens to be, CEO Jules Urbach's wife.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, certainly from a technical standpoint, like, there's definitely still some Uncanny Valley shit happening.
There will always be, I think.
I will say, they did an amazing job animating the Shatner face. Because Shatner has some undeniably idiosyncratic facial twitches he does as an actor.
Oh, yeah.
And holy shit, they nailed them.
Well, was it not Shatner?
I don't know.
So
Well, you said his body wasn't him, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, I know that they got a younger actor.
Yeah, this is Sam Witwer, the body double for all 3 different Kirks.
Oh, wow.
And from what I understand, they used him throughout and only really brought Shatner in because they needed permission to use his voice in the voiceover line from Twak. So I don't think he was ever playing anything, but a lot of people on the internet say, oh my god, they used Shatner and he walked around and then they de-aged him. Like, I don't know if that's what happened, though.
No.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's mostly Witwer.
I wasn't sure if they had Shatner doing, like, a facial motion capture or something.
That's possible, but I think it was all just mapped onto Witwer's face because they already put, like, some prosthetic on him. I didn't watch. There is a behind-the-scenes video of him turning into Shatner.
Yeah, I saw a photo of him in the TOS Shatner look.
Oh wow!
And he looks very much like TOS Shatner.
Yeah, he does a really good job. Like I give him credit.
Well,
he's
a good actor too.
Movement.
He's been in a bunch of stuff. He played Crashdown in Battlestar Galactica.
I forget which one crashed down.
He's one of the pilots that
explodes.
Crashes a lot.
Crashes down.
He crashes down. But he was the voice actor and model for the character of Starkiller in the Force
That's
Unleashed
why I know
video
that
game
name.
series.
Okay.
And I think he's also the voice of Darth Maul in the Star Wars cartoon shows.
Oh, that's
which
cool.
I haven't watched. I just saw that on his when I was looking him up earlier. I saw that on his.
That's very
thing.
cool. Yeah, and the guy that that plays Spock, Lawrence Selleck, just looks so much like fucking old Nimoy. Like, holy shit. Like, I don't even know how much they had to do to him to make him look like Spock.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, again, like, in that case, credit to the actor, because he definitely made Nimoy faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the Kirk Spock interaction at the end, beautiful. Brought a tear to my eye. I had a chill when they revealed. Like that is very, very lovely moment, and the swelling of emotions that happens there. But then I went down this rabbit hole of, oh, look at all the different people that were getting named in the garden scene. Oh
yeah,
boy.
That's
oh,
why
dear.
it's like, I'm glad I didn't look into it, and I'm going to be sad learning all these things.
We're
Also,
going to catch them live on this podcast.
I'd like to point out, having just confirmed, yes, he is the voice of Maul.
Cool.
He's also the voice of Darth Maul in Jake's best theory ever. He's Darth Maul's voice in Solo.
Oh.
And also, apparently...
Darth Maul is alive. Okay.
Wait, so does that mean that the guy that played Darth... Did he ever speak in the first movie?
Ray Park?
Yeah.
Yes, but somebody else
They
dubbed
dubbed
it.
him. Yeah.
Oh, really?
But interestingly,
Huh.
it looks like he has a Star Trek appearance we didn't know about.
Oh, really?
He is Sloth number 3 in an episode of Enterprise, The Shipment. So he was a...
in The
He was a
Shipment.
council thing?
Yeah.
One of the council
cool.
creatures?
Oh, and also apparently he was in one of the fan films as the voice of the, I assume, it just says Guardian's voice, so probably the Guardian
The
of
same
Forever.
Oh, that Guardian.
So yeah.
Didn't they call them the Council of Guardians or some bullshit, though? And what were they, just the Council?
Yeah.
Am I just making things up now?
Yes.
Cool.
But But yeah, as
there's
a
gonna
piece
be a
of
problem.
standalone stuff, it's very sweet if you ignore the real world. And again, yeah, I just read it as Gary Mitchell, who apparently isn't dead, because, hey, you know what? Fine, he was basically a god. Somehow managed to get Kirk's spirit or essence or whatever to Spock's side in the Kelvin verse as he died. And they all go off into the sunset together. And no matter what rabbit holes say, that's how I choose to interpret it.
There are a lot of rabbit holes, and I know Urbach specifically kept things vague enough that it could also just literally be dying Spock hallucinating all this, or it could literally be them in the afterlife, because there's so many interpretations of what is the afterlife. There's nothing that contradicts anything, but since he specifically added all these things that are not accidents or anything. Like, there's people in the crowd scene in the garden dressed certain ways, and you're like, someone intentionally put you there, and I hate that person so much.
Yeah, someone's in like a late TNG era dress uniform for some reason.
Oh yeah, the Nemesis dress uniform?
Yeah, very strange.
Oh, I will tell you about
we
that.
have the elephant in the room is Robin Curtis as Saavik.
Oh, she looks great.
I thought you meant Kirk.
No,
Aww.
that's in Kirk's pants.
That's in Kirk's dreams.
That's true. It's like, so if we're all gathering as a pre-Spock dying picnic, and Robin Curtis is there sensing what's going on. I know there's lots of novels and shit that specifically state she and Spock got married.
Oh, really?
And I know they also wanted specifically to get Robin Curtis in here, because I guess she's begging for work or something. But she looks great, and she does a really lovely job, with the lines that she had to do.
They got married?
Well, and I assume that the man that she's with is Spock's and her son.
Yeah, that would
Genesis,
be Sorak.
From
Sorak?
From when it went.
Sorak.
From when it.
What is happening with these names?
Pon far enough.
Too pon far.
I was thinking that, like, so he made an honest woman of her after using her for sex during his first pon far, right? That was
his first back to life.
His first new pon far. His rebirth.
It's gross.
Yeah, it is.
Gross.
Yeah,
I'm glad it didn't make it into the voyage home. But fans fucking glom onto this.
I that's one of the only things I read after seeing it, because I was like, who's that random fucking Vulcan she's making? It didn't even occur to me that it could have been.
Oh, that I got right away.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, is that supposed to be another Sarek? What's going on? That's the one thing where I was like, what the fuck? And then I read it and I was like, oh, that makes me sad. And that's when I stopped reading up on it, because I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
was
good.
The knowing, look between her and Sorak and Kirk, of Kirk being like, is that? And then nodding like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really? It is.
Didn't occur to me, and again, having read it, that's when I stopped. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna take this at face value. I don't like this anymore.
Don't worry, I'll ruin it all for you. It's gonna be great.
I'm surprised they didn't have a lookalike David Marcus character in the crowd.
But this is for Spock. These are Spock's friends.
They're Spock's friends?
Spock's friends and people who wanted to be there for Spock's picnic.
David Marcus died
His
for
weird
Spock.
death picnic.
I want a death picnic if I'm going.
They never met, actually, did they?
David Marcus and Spock?
Yeah.
Of course they met. They met on Genesis. David Marcus died defending him.
I mean, I should say,
Oh, you mean Spock that died in Star Trek 2 never
They
met.
never crossed paths.
That's true.
Really. They were maybe both on the bridge
They
for
were
2
on,
seconds.
They were on the ship together for sure, but...
And he never actually
we never got a scene.
He never
with
really
them.
would have conversed with Spock, because he only ever saw
young.
little Spock and then unconscious adult Spock.
Yeah.
So they never really had a meaningful interaction.
This
really.
is true.
Sorry. Anyway,
what other thoughts do you guys have about all of these, including the 3 short ones?
I kind of thought the scene. It wasn't. I don't think it was explicitly shown in this one, but in the previous one, on Viridian 3, they're showing them lifting
in the vagina pool.
No, that's not a Viridian 3.
No, where's the vagina?
I think
pool?
that's just.
No, the vagina pools of Viridian 3.
They never say where it is, but they show Colt at it. I think.
Yeah, Colt had a vagina.
Yeah, I think Viridian 3 was just the hilltop with the grave.
Yeah.
But also, I really kind of thought the shots of the Enterprise saucer being recovered were pretty cool.
Oh,
that
cool.
was neat.
Yeah, you can see you can also place it with seeing the shuttles underground being of the correct era, because there is so much jumping around in time and space in these things.
Yeah.
No, it's no doubt that the people that created this were the nerdiest of nerds.
Oh, yeah.
Because don't they say there's, like, in Generations, don't they say there is, like, a very small, like, pre-industrial society somewhere on the planet?
I thought that was Viridian 4 had a pre-industrial society. Viridian 3 was uninhabited. Viridian 4 had...
But it had a bridge.
Still, it
did have a bridge.
They had to make damn sure to get everything off just in case the Viridian 4ites ever made it to Viridian 3.
No, not damn sure. It was a bridge.
Well, I'm pretty sure... Well, I would imagine, though, that like it's just Starfleet policy to, recover technology that they leave behind.
Yeah. But I'm sure
the Romulans gonna be like, hey, I hear there's a galaxy-class saucer just kind of hanging out on a planet. Maybe we should go check that out.
Yeah, but I imagine when there's the risk of cultural contamination, they're like extra careful, It's
I thought you meant the Romulans. I was like, doubt it.
Like in other cases, maybe they even would just be like, maybe we just blow it up and call it a day. But they're just like, no, we gotta actually like carefully pick shit out.
Just picturing Tomalak at the salvage dock.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna hang that thing in the center of Romulus. Whatever the fuck he wanted to do. Remember he wanted to hang the Enterprise's burned out hull and...
Oh, Tomalak.
Well, somebody really needs to talk to him about his interior design choices.
Can totally imagine, like, if they hadn't, if no one had survived, and the saucer was just left there, and, like, Spot and some other cat from the Enterprise hook up and just destroy the planet's ecosystem by catting all over the place, because that is what cats do.
Good cats.
They do.
All right, I think we're ready for fan theories.
Yeah.
Because it all comes back to Colt.
Yeah, clearly she was meant to be important, and I didn't get how and didn't want to think about it.
So from what I'm sure Urbach...
Who is Colt? Remind me who this is.
Remember in the cage, there was that little ginger yeoman who really wanted to fuck Pike when they were in that cage together.
Yeah, she was one of the women! She was the one that wasn't number one.
Yeah, she was replaced by Grace Lee Whitney in the original series.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't remember her at all. But so, go ahead.
Yeah, she's a cute little redhead, little pug nose.
Yeah.
Pug nose.
Yeah, it didn't have a ton to do, but was there and had apparently like voracious sexual appetite apparently, or so the
actress or the character.
Roddenberry wrote her, so of course she did.
Oh yeah, for sure. So we do get the title of this whole series 765874 from Colt's serial number in one of the comics from Star Trek Early Voyages.
Okay.
In which, and here's where it all starts to come together. She travels to the future so that we can say that all these little mini-films are seen as from her observing history because she has this special power. But there's more. There's additionally a belief, and this is how she and the Spock are in the next one, Memory Wall, I think?
Yeah.
And we see Spock mind meld with her and something else.
Yeah.
There's a belief that comes from the novelization of the motion picture.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That Spock's mind meld with V'ger also gave him observer powers. And then he and Colt together using their observer powers did a meld. It's all very leafy and weird, but the two of them just accept it. They have special time observer powers.
Is that anything like what Wesley gets?
No, he's
a traveler.
Yeah.
Oh no, we'll get back to Wesley in a minute.
Oh,
we will.
God,
we will. But first, there is another little fan theory that I read about that I don't know. I have no idea what this is doing in here. But in like the first couple of frames, you see Colt go to Project Phoenix, where
I saw that.
Where Kirk's remains are that we saw in Picard season 3.
Okay.
And Colt's looking at the remains, and assumably maybe question marks. They're at the Daystrom Institute, and they use Project Phoenix to maybe resurrect him. Don't know if that's necessary, but it's in the film, so it's there to tease the audience with something.
What's really upsetting about that, just a little sidebar, like, all this other stuff is from books and novels and comics and shit that, like, generally in Star Trek doesn't count, usually, like it does for Star Wars.
Canon!
But Project Phoenix is in Picard, and I swear to God, if that ever pays off, I'm going to be livid.
Yikes.
Well,
there's no more Picard, so...
Yeah, but it's in the canon that somewhere at Daystrom, somebody is trying to bring back Kirk for some reason.
They're just trying to create like a super team of mega captains.
Hate it. Sorry, go on.
So meanwhile, Gary Mitchell, who might be still alive, because he definitely is still alive in a comic, Or maybe this is like his dying moment when he's getting smashed with a rock by Kirk is able to do this? Question mark.
Well,
He's a god. He can do what he wants.
no, but
He sees the error of his ways while getting smashed with a
no,
rock.
I know, but it's just it takes this like sort of ethereal, mysterious thing, and then adds this extra layer of this is all happening as his head gets squished, and it really adds an extra layer of bizarre. I love it. Sorry, go on.
Okay, so...
Wait, hold on. No, nope.
Okay, we've lost Chris.
Oh, Jesus. Chris is broken.
The Observers, those were the season 2 Picard people, right? Those are
Oh, like Talon or whatever her name
yeah,
is.
Picard's girlfriend.
Talon, yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
bitch.
See, the problem is you keep saying observers, and I just keep thinking of Mystery Science Theater. Because they eventually have the observers, of which only one survives, because Mike destroys their homeworld, because that's what he does. And yeah, there's just Observer there with his brain in a jar, claiming he has no body.
See, I think observers. I think the guys from Fringe who are just in all of
Oh yeah,
history.
those are.
I like that we're all just pulling in all these bizarre
But
things.
those are the
I'm
things
the
that
only
aren't
one that
canon.
made a Star Trek reference, so.
Yeah, seriously. Because there is more. So hang on. So
Yes,
Jerry
yes.
Mitchell, somehow, in some plane, reanimates Kirk's corpse.
Oh, God.
Like
That's
you do.
something people accept. I
Sure.
don't know why.
Sure.
Merges it with residual traces of his essence that was left in the Nexus.
And they
In
shoot him in the neck of
generations.
Kevon.
Sure.
But this is just something that idiots are coming up with. This isn't real.
The thing is, like, a lot of people are thinking the same things, and I don't know. There's so much insanity in this, and because these elements are left in the film and you're meant to think about them, they could be right.
Yeah.
Because Urbach had said, like, oh yeah, there's a specific story that I think is right, and I just won't tell you which one it is, because, you know, for all you know, you have the same thought. The one thing Urbach has said is that the garden that we see is not the Nexus. Because already people, like, a couple of different places I saw people said it's probably the Nexus. The one thing he has said is it's not the Nexus. The thing is, oh my god. So, someone online, and I have no idea what proof he got this from, he says the garden that we see, that everyone's in, is on the Enterprise J. And you can see this if you go look into the archives and look at the layout. And I looked, and there's nothing there. And I have no idea why this guy thinks this. But it is possible, and I'll tell you why it's possible in a minute.
Oh my god.
I hate the Enterprise J so much.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
thought you
just
were
for existing, it's bad. So, presumably, I'm guessing Mitchell brought everyone to this garden, or they just showed up there because they knew something was happening.
Sure.
I really don't know or care. I think this little project should have just started with Kirk in the memory tunnel. God damn it. Okay, but here we're going. We're going on with some more things. We see a bunch of people in the garden scene. The first one is the one I think Chris is going to be pissed off the most about, or whether you might already expect this. Our friend in the Nemesis-style dress uniform. Wesley Crusher. Or at least someone in the Crusher line.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't realize that's who that was. But I did notice in the credits there was someone just listed as Crusher. And I was like, what the fuck
Which is strange that character gets a credit. Because he doesn't do anything. He's just there for the hottest of
They
seconds.
want you to know there's a Crusher there.
For the fans to jizz. And for them to, like, come up with all these fucking theories.
Yep.
It drives me nuts. Because this could be, like... My first impression after watching this was... Oh, this is what Kirk sees when he says, oh my. And that would be lovely. I loved that, having that thought. But now looking at all this shit, I'm like, oh, there's so much more to this. God damn it. Anyway, more people we see in the crowd scene. Because why the fuck not?
Mm-hmm.
We see... A fan spotted someone that looks an awful lot like Kovich. And I won't tell Caitlin anything from Discovery Season 5 about Kovich. But there's someone who looks an awful lot like David Cronenberg standing there. So we expect, Kovich is here because of reasons that we learned in Discovery Season 5 that I won't spoil for anybody.
Yeah.
We also see, and this one I think is stretchy because I'm not sure if this is right. Someone on the internet said they think is a Xindi primate. Which I don't really see, I don't quite know, except for the fact that apparently, and I'd have to even look back through the footage to see this, he's wearing the badge that Daniels gave Archer on the J.
This guy likes Enterprise way too much.
He likes there's references to everything. There's Discovery, there's Picard, there's
Yeah, but
Generations, there's TWOC.
This person is our age.
There's
it seems
too
like,
much.
or a little
it's
younger.
So over-egged.
Any reference to Enterprise is too much. Unless it's like, I don't know, Trip's just there's like, you don't know me, but I'm alive, everybody. Turns out it's fine.
Yeah, and then we finally get Yor, the guy who's, I don't even remember why he's in a
What a
TNG
deep
season
cut.
1 uniform. But Yor is here, and I guess he must be the one that brings Kirk to the Kelvinverse, because
Sure.
he's able to cross through time and space to bring him to where Spock is now, because we all know Spock dies in the Kelvinverse.
Mm-hmm.
So he brings him there, and that's where we see the photo frame that Quinto gets in Beyond. And I think that's all the insanity that I have. Yeah, I think those are all the things that I've seen so far. I'm sure there's even more insane shit going on in this for fans to pick apart.
Oh, yeah.
But picking it apart just made me angry and frustrated and exhausted.
Well, why did you want to record a podcast about it if you
So-
didn't want to pick it apart?
So that, I wanted to pick it apart so we could discuss it together on the podcast. So what do you guys think now?
Well, at least if she's gonna be angry, it would be angry with a purpose, you know?
I was angry with my friends.
I remember something I read not very long ago from J.R.R. Tolkien, and I swear this ties in. And he was bemoaning and admitting it's something he also falls into, a trap he falls into, lore obsession.
Like Data
Wow,
lore?
J.K. Really? Tolkien had a lore obsession?
Yeah. But he
What?
he's bemoaning the fact that, again, he's guilty of it himself, but, like, losing sight of just, like, the core story because you get too hung up on lore and shit. And I feel like this is...
It's encouraging that.
Yeah, like, when I just watched it, on its surface, it was a sweet little thing.
Yeah.
And now we've got all this bullshit, and it's like, it's somehow less good now.
I don't know. I think it's leaving member berries for people to pick
Like
up
lower decks.
if they choose. Yeah, but you
Okay.
don't have to. Like, because
No, it's
you don't
true.
have to pick. Just
But some of them
leave
are
those
in-
member berries on the ground.
Some of the member berries are in your face. Like, Spock's son is right there in your
Yeah,
face,
but
and
I
you
think-
have to think
But
about
I
it.
think that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, the
I-
Ponfar happened. Accept it. It occurred. It's a thing.
I just don't need there to be a secret Spock, son.
What do you mean a secret Spock? If there was a Spock son, it would be a secret
Yeah,
because
because
it's
he doesn't
Spock.
tell anybody
Yes.
anything.
And like,
True.
here's the other thing. Like after Star Trek 3, we don't have a lot of opportunities for Spock to talk about his secret son. We have the remaining Star Trek films, and we have Unification.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I should say is I just don't need there to be a Spock son at all.
Yeah, but
I'm perfectly happy with Spock not having an heir.
sure, and I think that's fine. I don't have a problem with him having a son either. I think it's fine either way.
But wait, are they suggesting that like she got pregnant that time when they were doing weird teenage stuff in the jungle?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was in the voyage home when they cut it.
Well, that's
Like, the reason Saavik doesn't go with them is because she's pregnant.
oh, I hate that.
Yeah. No, I was glad they cut it because it's kind of weird and
Yuck,
creepy, and I
it's
don't
gross.
need it to exist.
Yeah, I hate that so much.
I mean, it's a thing. I don't. Why do we hate it?
Because everything about Ponfar is weird and
Oh, yeah,
upsetting.
everything-
But also
Ponfar
because
is
he,
weird.
was,
also, he's
he
like-
was like 12, or 13.
Yeah, but he
or...
would have died if she hadn't. So.
Yeah, but like they didn't have any fucking. She doesn't have any Vulcan birth control. They've got everything else
I mean,
in the
I'm
future.
guessing, they're on Genesis, so the baby was probably already ready to go.
She gave birth to it like 2 minutes after
I'd
they
say
fucked.
it's like Jack.
I mean, look how fast Spock grew on Genesis. Now
It's true.
apply that to fetus.
Gross. Oh, dear. That poor womb.
Spock got to age 60 in like an afternoon.
Yeah. Ugh. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Again, I don't know. I don't have thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I'll bring it back to, like, every other comment that I see on this is people just saying, I was a fan of TOS and I'm, 60 or 70 years old now and this is exactly what I needed. Or I just, had a family member die recently and this is hitting me in all the right places in terms of, like, thinking about the afterlife, which is, something I know Shatner has thought about and stuff and wanted to bring into films.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, as a strictly, like, without thinking about lore, without thinking about the real world, like, as a moment for these two characters, it's very sweet. It's nice that they get a moment together in some form. I'm happy to just read it as Gary Mitchell somehow got Kirk's spirit or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
corporeal enough.
Did you notice they actually got Gary Lockwood, the original
Yeah.
Gary Mitchell, and they de-aged. I don't
Wow.
know how they did body
Did
doublings
they
with
have to
him.
put the contacts back in?
Oh no, Gary, run!
That was probably the deal. It's like, look, you kids got computers now, so I don't need to put those fucking contacts in, right? And they went, sure thing, Gary. I mean,
Gary.
Yeah.
oh yeah, his real name's Gary, and it's weird. He's in 2001, which I forgot about.
Yeah, he's
Is his name
Poole?
Gary?
Is he Poole? I think he's Poole.
Gary Poole?
Gary Lockwood.
And again, like I said, like whatever they did to animate the Shatner face, assuming it was animated, that was an amazing job. Because again, he's got. It didn't even really occur to me, but I was watching, like, wow, yeah, no, those are those weird little. He does very distinctive things with his face as an actor, and they fucking nailed it. Again, assuming they weren't just somehow copy pasting footage from Twalk or whatever.
We do get the one line in the whole shebang is that line from Twalk about how I'll have to come back here one day.
They're all yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're always possibilities.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is a good
line.
tie-in line to like create this. We're all kind of stuck in the same time bubble together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was nice. I thought there was a touching moment, and I really liked again going back to the previous in the series with just the Viridian 3 stuff. The shot of Spock on the mountaintop.
Yeah.
Oh, getting the badge. That was nice.
Was nice, and then he has they show his face, and then he flashes back to a younger version of himself that's standing in
an office somewhere.
office
In like
somewhere.
his TMP uniform.
Which is interesting.
Because he just got back from V'ger and can see through time.
Ah,
There you go.
okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to make of that, but
Yeah, a lot of fans seem to just believe that this is saying that Kirk is alive now.
No.
Which I don't know if I
don't
agree
think that,
with.
I think this is a fine send off to both characters.
Which is why I kind of like my initial thought of this is his oh my. And then he also dies, and he dies with Spock. So that when he said in 5, I'll die alone. No, you will die with Picard with the bridge on you, liar. That he does get to be with his friend in his final moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's nice.
Yeah, that's and and as that, I like it. And yeah, some weird metaphysical shit is happening. Why not? I mean, we've had godlike beings, so
Yeah.
there can be whatever.
But now there's too many godlike beings.
Yeah, I don't like.
They're all here together to see the
Okay,
picnic.
so the guy's wife looked a lot like the actress that played Colt, and he wanted to do a Star Trek fan fiction, so why not?
Yeah.
Or maybe that's why he married her. I don't know.
Yeah, or they read this comic together and just decided, oh, we like Colt. Let's read the Colt comic. Oh, look, she goes through time. Let's do something with this.
Assuming the one they're talking about, because you mentioned Gary Mitchell shows up in a comic, it's actually this is the one they're talking about, there is an arc they did only recently where basically a bunch of the godlike beings were getting killed off
Oh no.
by some unknown force.
Definitely Tane.
And I think Gary Mitchell shows up in that. And I know the story involves what's his name? Ben returning from the wormhole and having to get involved with this because it's near apocalyptic because it's all these higher beings trying to kill each other.
This
So
sounds so fan wanky.
it's when the Q went to Civil War, it was causing stars in our level of reality to explode. So gods killing each other affects the temporal plane.
As long as they don't fuck with Kevin Uxbridge, because that man will fuck
Yeah.
your shit up.
Yes. We have no law to fit your crime. What are you gonna do about it, John? Seriously, look at him.
We have no law to fit your crime. Well, we do have murder. That is a law.
It's we have laws, but we have no way to deal with someone of your power level. Is
that's not. That's
That's
not
really
that we don't
what
have
it
a
is.
law. Is that we don't have.
We do not have
There's
temporal
no-
god handcuffs.
We don't have a prison for you.
Yeah,
so
no.
just hang out on your planet and be sad.
You win.
Oh, you know what we haven't really talked about yet is that kind of memory hallway thing that looks like he's in a plinth with versions of himself, which is interesting. And I'm sure 90% of that's there just to show off their tech.
Oh, it is.
But also people have said oh, this is, Kirk addressing representations of him from past moments that are important. Like him, as the young captain, him in Twalk when Spock had died the first time. and then accepting who he is now. And I guess there are different elements of afterlife lore across cultures that are like you get to pick who you want to be in the afterlife.
Ooh.
But again, open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's interesting is, because we mentioned 2001 for Gary Lockwood reasons, but this thing, you know what it reminds me of, this whole thing? It reminds me a little bit of the ending of 2001.
Yeah, there actually is. Isn't there a shot at one point where somebody does have like lights going past their face in a very... Or am I...
Well, that in 2001 there is.
No, I know it.
In this? I think there was in one of the other ones.
That's what, in one of the ultra shorts. I also watched the first episode of Farscape yesterday, and I might be thinking about that. So now I'm not sure. But I remember thinking at one point...
there are shots, in the intro to Farscape.
At one point I was thinking of 2001 yesterday, but it might have been Farscape.
It might have been Farscape, because it does kind of look like that. Yeah, but like the whole ending bit after he goes through the probe or whatever the fuck it is.
The one scene
after he goes through the monolith.
Yeah, that one scene everyone has seen a clip of, even if they haven't seen the film.
Yeah, but after that though, when he's on the other side of it and he's kind of watching himself.
Yeah.
And it kind of ends with him dying. Spoiler alert. In the bed as an old man.
I gotta rewatch 2001. I don't remember a lot of it.
That kind of reminded me.
I've never seen it.
Like these scenes remind me of those post going through the portal scenes in 2001.
Yeah, which is a kind of like weird sci-fi thing that Star Trek does not often dip its toe in. Their stuff is usually more just kind of like they deal with the straightforward.
Yeah.
Usually.
And if it holds, though, that's what the filmmaker was going for here, then we can now rest assured that Kirk is alive as a space fetus.
Good.
Yeah.
Space fetus.
I think Star Baby is what they called it in the book.
I believe
it sounds
so.
better than space fetus.
It is also, again, what happened with Dr. Clayton Forrester in Mystery Science Theater.
I remember this.
He becomes a space baby.
Yeah, we looked up the company. OTOY?
I say OTOY, but I have no idea if that's right.
Like O'Brien, Obama.
What?
OTOY.
Oh, yeah, it's Irish.
Oh, an OTOY. Hi, titito. So, yeah, we looked them up, and they are a software company. They make 3D rendering software. So, I mean, it really is a tech demo. And it's just like... They have
the story behind it.
They have the money.
Like Godzilla,
and like if you
adventure.
notice, like it's a fan film in every sense of the word.
Oh, yeah.
With the exception that it is actually licensed. Like if you look at the credits, it's a licensed thing.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I don't know. I like it. I think it looks cool. I like visuals are nice.
Yeah, the music is beautiful. That's Michael Giacchino, which is some really nice work from him.
I'm a fan. I like wanking. So this combines my interests.
Too much wanking.
Yeah, I choose to mostly just observe it on a surface level, and I'm much happier that way.
Yeah, I don't need to know who all the background
How are
folks
they on the J? I don't understand why they'd be on the J.
Well, that doesn't even sound like it's anything that's
connected to anything.
But it doesn't even sound like it's referenced in the film. It's not, you said somebody...
Yeah, how did they fit? You said
they found it on, oh God, is it Roddenberry Archive or something like that? Where they have schematics of the J.
Sure.
And I think on OTOY's page for this, where they just have a lot of like different mosaics of behind the scenes and shots of the thing. I think there's a J on there, and people put it together, and I think it's too much.
No,
I think
because
it's insane.
Kirk, none of them have a connection to that ship. Which, by the way, because I forgot to mention this when we got to that episode of Enterprise, ugliest fucking ship.
Oh, you mentioned it so many times, Chris.
Did I?
It's been
Okay,
talked
well,
about
it's
a lot.
Fucking hideous.
It's also not. It's probably not canon anymore because
that whole timeline was definitely a bit wobbly.
Yeah. Well, that timeline, because that timeline where we saw the J depended on the sphere builders continuing to extend the expanse.
Yeah, which they can't have.
Which the expanse was destroyed.
Yeah.
So that I mean, it's still possible there's an Enterprise J and it looks like that pizza cutter thing.
Yeah, because Archer wrote it down and said, "I saw this thing and it looked cool. Someone should make it one day."
But it's certainly not. It's certainly not the same timeline.
No, that's true. That's true.
Oh, did we also notice? I missed this note that the cult that we see at the Daystrom Institute, looking at the Shatner corpse area, she's in a Kelvinverse uniform.
I did not notice that.
Because this isn't the same cult. This one is Kelvin cult. And I flip every table in the room because I don't understand. I don't get it.
I did not notice that, no. I just noticed it was Colt. It's so bizarre.
How
Occurs to
bizarre.
me. So, I didn't think of this till right now, but this means that when Spock went on his little mission before the 2009, the events that caused the Kelvin timeline.
Oh, to go save Romulus'
Yeah.
star.
He had to have brought that photo with him for some reason.
Maybe he just keeps it in his wallet.
He just always has that with him apparently,
it's like he sticks it up when he flies, to remember what he's coming home to.
Yeah, it's his human side getting connected.
I mean,
to,
it's
getting
also
attached to
quite
objects.
possible that he had an inkling that he might not be coming back from that mission, because originally he was trying to create just a black hole.
That's true.
And they created the fastest ship so that they could, presumably so he could escape from it. But I'm guessing there was no guarantees on that mission.
Yeah, but anyway, it's just a thing. It never occurred to me, but it does add, like I said, it's sort of an acknowledgement of his sentimental side that he took this with him. It's kind of nice, and it didn't occur to me when we watched the film, like, wait a minute, this isn't something he could have picked up he had to have this in his pocket.
That's true. Or he drew it from memory.
Yes.
Vulcans are very skilled painters.
There we go. I prefer to think he just had it in his pocket. Which actually makes sense, because I know the early version of the script had him with, like, a recording from Kirk in his pocket originally, so...
Maybe also, because, he's on a starship, maybe the starship has a computer that has records, such as photos.
Well, yes, but he still would have had to have printed out and brought it with him from the...
Found the perfect box to put it in.
From the prime timeline.
Yeah, but the ship came with him, so once he was in
the
Kelvin timeline,
yes, that's a good
he
point.
could have printed it out.
I suppose.
Yeah,
I prefer to think he just already had it. It's nicer that way.
Yeah, also the prime directive implications of getting a 25th century ship in the 22nd, 23rd century? 23rd century.
No, I'm sure the Kelvin timeline, Daniels dealt with that. The little shit.
My God, Daniels.
God, I hate him so much.
I hate Daniels so much.
So much. But yeah, no, this as on its own surface level, very sweet. Made me feel things. I don't like feeling things, so that was annoying. But it was still sweet.
I'm glad people are like getting something out of it that's nice.
Yeah.
I don't like the nitpicking.
I choose to ignore all of that.
I know. When I started going down this rabbit hole, it's like, oh no, I have to tell the people on the podcast this, because if I know it, you have to know it too.
That's fair. Yeah, I did see that one guy listed as Crusher in the credits, and I was like, do I want to know?
I know. As I was rewatching this morning, I went back through the crowd scene, and I went slowly through. I was like, oh yeah, that does look like Kovich. And I don't see what the people are saying with this other guy, but sure, why not? Cool.
So that fascinating little thing.
We talked for way longer than I thought we would about this.
Yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed that. Go check it out. Again, it is an interesting thing, a fascinating tech demo. As far like all appropriate rights were obtained.
Oh yeah, they talked with Nimoy's widow.
And she's like a producer on it.
Yep.
So again, you may still be opposed to that sort of thing, which is totally fair. But they didn't use anyone's likeness without permissions or anything, at least. So that much is in the clear. I don't know. That's a whole different discussion. So next week, we will be back to where we're supposed to be, which is Choose Your Pain. So look forward to that. As always, we are on Facebook and SoundCloud. We may or may not be on Blue Sky by this point. Who knows? This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This is Jake.
And time is the fire in which Gary Mitchell burns, evidently.
Well, he was burning in a fire, wasn't he?
Maybe? Or commanding fire?
He was hanging out with fire.
Yeah, him
Friends.
and fire are buddies. Yeah.
Buddies with fire.
It's very cold in space.